Mage Item Pack 2 Codex entries. ALDENON'S Vestments. To all appearances, he was a hedge wizard hailing from the Frostbacks, perhaps Alamari, but from the Wildlands if so. Venerable, certainly worthy of respect, but not commanding it. When he stormed into my master's feast hall and offered his service in a resounding voice, there was a laughter at his audacity. Several bondsmen offered to remove the miscreant, but before they could grab him, the mage lifted his staff and the bondsman fell to the ground. Each time they stood, they slipped again, and their antics were met with laughter. Tenedor the Elder, who was not long for this world, demanded to know who this arrogant invader was. "I am the beginning and the end. I am Luckbinder, Spellweaver, and the Keeper of Secrets. And I am here to build a kingdom. I am Aldenon the Wise, and if you haven't heard of me yet, never can you say the same again." His voice boomed, silencing all. His magic was potent, and the hall gave him a wary look. Tenedor accepted him as his advisor that day. Then, when Tenedor the Younger rose to his father's seat, he took Aldenon into service as well. I sat with the mage in many councils, and although his magecraft was greater than even the Tevinter Magisters, many believed his advice to be folly. He had little appreciation for the hard truths of our lands, they said. Compassion, mercy, justice, the men are not when Terran Simeon invades your land, subverts your nobles, and takes what's yours. He grew bitter and impatient with us and ours, and these sentiments were often returned, but others could not see he had a vision of something better than the endless petty wars of Terrans and Arls. When Arl Murden besieged us, a youth named Caladhad was sent to meet the Asp, but all expected a treacherous end. Yet the boy returned, to great acclaim, and announced that there would be no terms. Aldenon was taken with the foolhardy honor the boy displayed, and seemed to awaken as from a dark dream. The mage told Tenedor the Younger he would lend his aid for this battle, but after that, he would serve another. Tenedor accepted his resignation with relief more than anything. By the end of the siege of the Western Hill, Arl Tenedor was no more. It was Calenhad who defeated Mirrodin in single combat, and he became Terran Calenhad. Aldenon was named his chief advisor. From The Recollections of Sir Devith, Banner Knight of King Calenhad. Freedom's Promise. As Calenhad grew into a man, one great contentious issue separated him from Aldenon: Calenhad's faith. As biddable as Calenhad was on some topics, never would he back down from matters of honor or Andraste. What Aldenon believed only Aldenon knew, but he certainly did not believe in the Maker. The friends' arguments grew only hotter as the years passed. But that aside, the union of Calenhad's peerless honor and Aldenon's ingenuity overcame every obstacle set before them. Rivals turned into friends, treacheries were uncovered, and impossible battles won. But as we turned to Terran Simeon, no one rested easy. Terran Simeon's host outnumbered us many times over. He controlled the holy city of Denerim. Many great and terrible warriors had sworn him fealty. Aldenon conceived a plan to enlist strong allies, and Calenhad went into the Brazilian forest to make it so. But unbeknownst to the mage, Calenhad had made contact with the Chantry. When Calenhad returned at the head of the Ash Warriors as Aldenon expected, so as well did Templars and Circle Mages join our host. Aldenon was in a fury such as I've never seen. He wanted a kingdom of free men, of moral people beholden to law, where a common man could tend his land safely and in peace. He lifted his staff and his voice echoed through the hills. "A civilization cannot be civil, and it condones the slavery of another. And that is what the Circle is. But by accident of birth, those mages would be free to live, love, and die as they choose. The Circles will break, if it be 1 year, a decade, a century, or beyond. Tyrants always fall, and the downtrodden always strive for freedom." Then Aldenon left, and although Lady Shayna slew Simeon that day and Calenhad ruled a united kingdom, my liege was not the same without his mentor and friend. We lived in the kingdom built on dreams of two great friends, and we were all lessened by Aldenon's departure. From Recollections of Sir Devith, Banner Knight of King Calenhad. Robes of the Pretender. As the Chantry's hold on the kingdom grew and Aldenon's rebel mages were claimed one by one, the great Calenhad came to regret letting the Circle form in his kingdom. Certainly, he missed his old friend's counsel. And then Calenhad disappeared, leaving crown and kingdom to his unborn son. One story says he tracked down Matarel the Elusive, the only one of Aldenon's apprentices who was never captured. Calenhad managed what the Templars could not and found the mage. He asked Matarel where Aldenon had fled to, but Matarel refused him. The next night, the king asked again and was again refused, so he began to tell Matarel his whole life story. After a full week, the king reached the end of his tale, and Matarel heard the regret in the king's words. So the mage broke his solemn vow and told Calenhad where his old master had gone. Calenhad thanked him and left to find his truest friend. Whether Callan had ever found Aldenon, what they said, and whether they made amends, only the Maker knows. But that's lest anyone ever saw our king. From a story told and retold many times by princesses in the Circle Tower of Ferelden. Wisdom's Eye. Although his vestments are legendary, Aldenon also weaved many subtle and potent enchantments into his cap during the years he fought against the Circle Tower of Ferelden. He claimed he could use Wisdom's Eye to even see the future. Certainly, the innumerable times he and the other rebel mages escaped Templars led some credence to the claim. When Aldenon's band numbered fewer than the fingers on one hand, he donned his hat and meditated a full day. When he awoke, he said the Maker and the Circle had won, and he bade his apprentices run. He was never heard from again.